Greetings, welcome to the latest of my deep dive videos. Today I'm going to explore the annual Leo new moon, this year across the 24th or the 25th of July, and at 2 degrees and 8 minutes. I'll share with you shortly the exact timings in all the major cities of the world, but the Leo new moon is really powerful because the sign is ruled by the sun. A new moon is when the sun and the moon unify, so they're both giving the best of their energies to the equation. It gives us a fantastic opportunity to set our intentions over the next month towards the things that inspire us, that we feel passionate about, that we want to showcase our creativity, our flair, our artistry, where we can have fun, where we can mix and mingle and socialize, where we can also be playful and perhaps also romantic too. The sign of Leo is the 5th zodiac sign. It's ruled by the sun, of course, but also it is a fixed sign. So that's an intriguing part of the equation, because fixed energy can be a little bit resistant to change. But for the first time in 77 years, Uranus, the dazzling electric Uranus in the fleet-footed sign of Gemini, is linking to the sun in a brilliant sextile. Now, fire energy requires oxygen, so that's what Uranus brings to the equation. We do also have Venus in the sign of Gemini too, which I'll share more about shortly, the relator and the money planet. But there is another subplot, because Mercury, the planet of communication, is in Leo but in retrograde, so that's something we need to be mindful of. I'm going to share with you which zodiac signs will be most immediately impacted by this particular event, in a positive way, a more challenging way, and perhaps a let's see kind of way. But I will go through each of the 12 zodiac signs in detail towards the end of the video. But before then, I'm also going to share with you the event charts from a solar but also natal perspective. The solar perspective, the zodiacal context, helps us to all understand how this will play out for us all. But the natal perspective is really intriguing because it puts the sun and the moon in the 7th house of relationships. And remember, we do have Mercury in retrograde in the sign of Leo, and that's in the 7th house too. So that's going to be interesting. Please stay with me as I go through all of this. A very warm welcome. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. If you're new to my channel, please feel very welcome to share any thoughts. This is very much a community, and I do try to interact with almost every comment where possible. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please help it thrive and do so now, but also please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you've become a member on YouTube, I'm really thankful. If you're a patron, thanks to you too. If you'd like to become either, please see beneath this video. I've set the rates as affordable as possible. Now, if you'd like to work with me directly, it is probably the most humbling part of my job, because helping people to navigate the challenges they've got or to seize the opportunities is really absolutely fantastic. Please see what people say about working with me. Even if you don't feel ready to have a reading, just get a feeling for what the experience has been like by reading my testimonials below. Now, my new website, we're continuing to refine it. Thank you for your patience. It does take time, and it's a very old website that we've moved across, a lot of pages, and we're slowly but surely getting it to work quicker, more responsively, and be a little lighter on the adverts as well, to help you to enjoy it to the maximum. For example, on the tarot, we're taking the adverts off. So the free 3 tarot is brilliant. Please visit it as many times as you want. You can also sign up for your free daily horoscope. It's fired to your device each morning, and you can download a free natal chart. But this one, unlike many on the internet, has got a superb in-depth interpretation that you can enjoy. Now, as ever, just finally flag up my unique offer. If you do want to order your Year 26 personal transits now, totally unique to you, you can do so, but get the rest of this year free. And also in my special package of 30% off, get your life roadmap report. I think whenever we connect to astrology to begin with, once we understand what we were given at birth, if we put our focus there first of all before the forecasting, that's really valuable. And the life roadmap report helps us to understand the patterns and how we can work with them in a better way. And then together with the transit, time our moves much more acutely. So please see the link below for more on that too. So this particular Leo new moon occurs across the 24th and the 25th at 2 degrees and 8 minutes. And why that's particularly powerful is there is a form of astrology called the 12th harmonic. That's where we divide each of the 30 degrees by 12, giving us 2.5 degree slots known as dwards in Vedic astrology. And because this particular lunation occurs in the first 2.5 degrees, we get an extra resonance of the sign of Leo, because that first slot is sub-ruled by the sun as well too. So gives us an even greater opportunity to springboard forwards in a very charismatic, confident and self-assured way. But who is this going to perhaps be a little bit more challenging to? Well, if you have any planets between 0 degrees and 4 degrees in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio, the challenge for you, and I will go into it in much greater detail when I do the deep dive for each sign, is because you're a fixed sign, just like the sun is, but remember the position of Pluto, which is opposite the sun in the fixed Aquarius. It does mean that if something's pushing you to change or transform that you resist, it's going to create tension, even though new moons generally give us an opportunity to set our intentions. So for Taurus, it may be about home and emotional changes, and Scorpio, it may be to do with success, goals and ambitions. But in a much more positive way, Leos for sure, as long as you can be mindful of the connection to others, which comes through Pluto. And as far as Geminis and Libras and Sagittarius, well, I feel if you've got anything between 0 and 4, you could really surf this particularly dynamically. But what about Aquarius? Well, Aquarius is interesting. It could be very good. It could be more challenging. When I go through the signs in detail, I will share exactly why for you. So let's just think about the energy of Leo again. So it's the 5th zodiac sign. It's fire, the elements, but it is fixed, and it can be very, very powerful. And of course, people can see Leos as someone people who like to receive the limelight. But there's nothing wrong with that. The key is making the most of our talents and having the confidence to actually take a little bit of a risk. We could say that the 5th zodiac sign is also about speculation. So if you're someone who's interested in improving your financial lot, that's what this Leo energy might point you towards. But that desire for attention can be a very constructive thing, because maybe it's pushing us to step outside our comfort zone, particularly with the electric energy of Uranus in the air sign of Gemini, feeding in a sextile for the first time in 77 years. So that's how rare that is. Fire needs oxygen. So Uranus is pushing us to use our minds, Gemini, and be dexterous and flexible, very not fixed. So sometimes that may mean making a quick decision, or using osmosis to soak up energies very rapidly, and then use the confidence, assertion and authority of the sign of Leo to make that move. So the new moon in Leo can definitely give us all an extra desire for recognition. One of the things about Leo people is you have to respect them. So we're all going to be looking for greater respect. Why not? Respect is critically important. If we're liked, that's better still. If we're admired, fabulous. But if we're adored, well, we're really basking in the sun, and that's really a lovely place to be. So whatever it is that's really capturing your imagination at the moment, we can put, or you can put, a lot of extra energy, a lot of extra focus, and a lot of extra determination, but use a degree of playfulness, charm, personality, power and charisma to elevate that plan to receive that attention from others. So what about the times that this event occurs across the world? I'm showing on the screen now those for you. So next up, I'm showing the event chart from a zodiacal viewpoint, which begins at 0 degrees in Aries, the vernal point. That's where the Western tropical zodiac begins. And we have Saturn and Neptune just nipped in there in Aries, but in retrograde. Saturn in Aries in its fall, slowing things down, doesn't make it easy to initiate, can make things a bit more ponderous. But Neptune can bring some subtlety, but also can dissolve. So I think collectively there has been a less than ideal energetic vibe out there. What the Sun therefore does is lights things up in a magnetic way, and the link that Sun creates, the resonance to Saturn and Neptune, is very, very good. Saturn therefore brings some anchoring to the ambition of the Sun and the Moon in Leo, and Neptune urges us to stay in touch with subtleties, but also the spiritual dimension. There's Uranus in that third sign, Gemini. Really exciting. As I mentioned, first time for 77 years. So that's pushing us to perhaps go outside the more conservative approach that Leo energy can often prefer, and be a little bit more open to innovation and pushing ourselves to be as authentic as possible, because Uranus is about higher truths. The sign of Gemini, quick, fast communication. That suggests technology and the way that we all interact with each other is going to be a big part of this year's new moon story. But on the other side of the heavens is Pluto. So Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, Pluto is a planet which affects us all collectively. It's about transformation, but in the opposition with the Sun and the Moon, it brings great intensity. It can also bring obsession, but it can also bring to the surface, because the sign of Aquarius is about, because of the rulership of Uranus, the modern rulership, it is about finding that higher purpose. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole symbolism of the water carrier for an air sign, because it's linked to baptism. So it's really understanding what's important beyond the material plane of the sign of Capricorn. But that opposition with the Sun and the Moon in Leo suggests that if we're very invested in receiving recognition, but we're not very tuned in or aware of how it feels to others, that could throw up some power battles. The intriguing thing, of course, is that Pluto and Uranus are in mutual reception, because of Uranus being the modern ruler of Aquarius and Pluto being in the sign of Aquarius. But Pluto's also linking to the traditional ruler of Aquarius. So Pluto is very important on this event. So although Saturn, Uranus are very supportive of the Sun and very supportive of Pluto, Pluto is almost like reminding the Sun that whatever we want to go for, that enables us to showcase our ego, our individual talent, if we're unaware or unconnected or disconnected to others, it could lead to somewhat of a rude awakening. Now, I'd just like to briefly mention about that Mercury retrograde. So it's at 13 degrees and 50 minutes. It's an interesting one, because that means it's in the second decan of the sign of Leo, sub-ruled by Jupiter. So essentially very positive. Mercury in Leo can be very prideful about ideas, quite attached to seeing ideas as part of the persona. So, you know, we need to be aware that there could be some disagreements with the opposition between the Sun, Moon and Pluto, and with the potential for cross wires with Mercury. Also, finally, Venus and Mars are in a square, which is very, very strong. If we think about it, Mars in Virgo is great if we want to be very meticulous and precise, whereas Venus in Gemini can be much more gregarious. So we could encounter someone who we enjoy socializing with, but it's also important to understand that if we promise something, we verbalize something, somebody could be in some ways wanting us to deliver in a more practical way. Mars in Virgo. So let's have a look at the event from a natal perspective. The reason I love doing this, and of course there will be astrologers that live in LA that produce charts for there, or Sydney, or wherever in the world, Buenos Aires, whatever. But for me, the reason I do it based on the prime meridian and Greenwich is not because I'm based in the UK, I'm not based in England, is because I feel it gives us a collective pointer. So it's at universal time, it's not based on British summertime. And there we go, the guys are all in the 7th house, so that's telling us the relationships, but also being conscious of who we need to interact with, who aren't necessarily always our friends, but we still need to have that connection. So we may need to be combative, but at the same time with Mercury retrograde, very, very important to use our language carefully, to measure what we say in a thoughtful fashion. And we get a flip in a way because Pluto's in the 1st house. So it's suggesting that this is a huge time for us all to try to understand our identity in the world as it's changing so quickly. But we need to feel that our identity is recognised. So I feel that the 7th house for me can be about boundaries, and it can be about getting that tip point between where we give and where we get. So that could glow up. And then we've got Uranus, intriguingly, in house 4, which can be disruptive around the emotional and family dimension. Saturn and Neptune are in the 2nd house, very much to do with our values, self-worth and money. So what's the shakeout from this chart? Well, of course, it depends on the ascendant, which is blessed by the path of fortune. Capricorn is steady Eddie, but it's also in the real world. So the sign of Leo does give us that opportunity to illuminate brightly and bring great resonance to the things that we're excited about. But that Capricorn energy is saying, keep it real. Saturn in the 2nd house, keep it real, particularly if you are thinking of doing something more speculative. Uranus, back to Pluto, 1st, 4th, intriguing, isn't it? I just feel that things are changing so quickly for all of us. It can feel somewhat breathless, and that can have an impact on our relationships. So I think the takeout really is, however much we get caught up in wanting to showcase what we're really invested in, what brings us joy, what makes us feel part of things in a very involved and exciting way, we still need to be very conscious of how it all interacts with others. And that's a little bit counter Leo energy. So I think that this is a Leo new moon, particularly with Mercury retrograde, where we're all being asked to get in touch with where we can be a bit more daring, where we can add some glamour, some excitement and some fun, but keep it real, but also keep it in touch with our connections to others. Please stay with me as I go through each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces. So Aries, an annual Leo new moon, is a brilliant opportunity for you to start to see the results of what you set in train with the Aries new moon, which this year was a solar eclipse. So if that really required you to be very single-minded, determined, focus on an individual talent or idea, and really put all your resources into it, you can start to see the benefits now. But also you may need to take that initial idea and just up the resonance a little bit more, show even more self-belief, take that next step in terms of how you're connecting to others. So in a very positive way, if you want to be more playful, perhaps more speculative, more creative, more social, the next month gives you the permission to do that. But because of Saturn and Neptune in your sign in retrograde, just be mindful of not going too gung-ho. It's going to be important to think about things a little bit more carefully, and your communication is definitely going to be very important. You could also find yourself trying to sort of keep different factions in your life happy because of the role of Pluto. Some of the things you might want from your future might not necessarily be the things that someone's close to you wants, a partner, your children, and there may be some kind of tussle that needs to work itself out. Uranus is bringing perhaps an extra electric energy around your thinking, which creates more excitement. But because of Mercury's retrograde, once again, slowing things down means that you can use Saturn and Neptune to your advantage, because they can just anchor things. So that more thoughtful approach, together with that fire energy that your sign has and Leo, can definitely be a winning mix, as long as you just don't pitch in too much without due consideration. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. So Taurus, I mentioned in the intro that if you have degrees from 0 to 4, it could be a bit more challenging because of the angularity, but most of all if there is a degree of resistance. But what Uranus taught you over the last 7 years is that sometimes change is as good as a rest. And of course Pluto is also making its way through your 9th house, opening you up to new philosophies, travel, experiences in a very exciting way. What Uranus is asking you to do in your 2nd house is be open to different approaches to using resources. But the Sun and the Moon in Leo, very much about your home and emotional world. So in terms of that Uranian energy, maybe you can create more space in your abode by decluttering. Maybe you can move things around. If you work from home, having a dedicated space for your desk can actually give you the concentration that you require to do your work efficiently. It's just really with Pluto in that 10th house, because Pluto for you is pushing you and will push you through to 243, 44 to really think about your connection to the world in a way which is very powerful and transforming. If there's part of your inner world that's maybe wanting to stick with what you know, or feels a bit shy, doesn't really want to step outside your comfort zone, this particular new moon could be somewhat challenging if an opportunity comes up, but it doesn't quite work for you at that feeling level, perhaps in terms of where you live. But equally, maybe there's a bit of a battle of wills that's playing out in your home or emotional situation at the moment. Someone may not be tuned in enough to how you feel, which is making you feel somewhat bereft. Why do I feel that's a factor? Because of Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house. They're really making you much more conscious of the psychological domain. So the 4th house is about nurture. If your world lacks nurture at the moment, Pluto can push you to find your voice, to tell people it's not good enough. They need to be more mindful of giving you support. But equally, the 4th house new moon could see you want to add to your family, move home, redecorate, do some construction to your property. So it can be very positive, but of course with Mercury retrograde, we just need to all be conscious and aware that whatever we try to set in motion with the new moon could suddenly change. There could be very fast things that we need to respond to. And as long as you're ready for that, that gives you a greater opportunity to still make progress. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. So Gemini, what an opportunity for you. For the first time in 77 years, Uranus is in your sign, forging a sparkling epiphyseal alliance with the new moon. The Leo new moon annually for you helps you to glow up around your ideas and around your exchanges, and an area that you have a huge gift for anyway. But this year there's extra potential in the mix, and Uranus isn't just linking to the sun and the moon, it's angling very productively to Pluto and Saturn and Neptune too. I would say of all the zodiac signs, you really have got such a wonderful opportunity. But of course, your ruler Mercury is in retrograde. So what's the big picture on this for you? Well, I feel that if there is something you've got to say, you want to reach people, or you've got an idea about a long-term plan, the chances of taking a giant step forwards over the next 4 weeks are very strong indeed. Particularly if you've got the confidence to be a bit more provocative, do things that are a bit different or edgy or new or innovative. But the Mercury retrograde suggests it's not your idea that could be the issue. It may not even be your people skills, but it could be the message. So important not to rush things, because with Venus in your sign giving you a lot of extra luster, but squaring up with Mars, if things don't go quite to plan, you could get a bit frustrated. Or if you rush things, a text message or email may go awry. Someone might not hear you in the way you want to be heard. So delivering the message in a little slower of a way is important, despite all this electric energy, which is absolutely urging you to seize the moment. You can do that. Your vision is just going to be fantastic. But I feel that your conversation needs to be accurate. Use or think about the precision of Mercury, not just the speed of thought, the precision, to make sure that you're delivering whatever it is you want to share with people in a very, very careful, considered and accurate way. And that's going to increase your odds of gaining traction and leverage with all those big ideas that are bubbling away. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. So Cancer, each year with the Leo new moon for you, it gives you a chance to celebrate the foundations of your world, to firm those foundations up. Perhaps consider your values, self-worth, but also everyday money. But there is a bit of a complexity this year. The sun's transit through your sign has probably seen you creative, but it may also have made you much more conscious of your individuality. Having Jupiter in your sign, pushing you to embrace your philosophies in the most authentic of ways. But because Uranus and also Venus are in your 12th house, I feel that you could be thinking very, very deeply at this particular juncture this year about how you do bring money into your world, but also what you stand for. And if there's something that's not quite working for you, I think as you come into this year's Leo new moon, a period of quite deep reflection could be ongoing. Part of the reason for this is not just that Venus and Uranus are in your 12th house, it's also that Saturn and Neptune are right at the top of your chart. And the 10th house is where we connect to the world. It can be about goals and ambitions, but it can be about work. But it also can be about big corporations or the expectations of an employer, or even the clients we have. And then with Pluto opposing the Sun and the Moon in your 8th house, that brings a much more psychological dimension to your situation. Also, who does and contributes what? Are you as invested in what you've been doing as you might be? And with Mercury in retrograde as well, I just feel that there's a lot of food for thought at the moment, and you might not, as the new moon occurs, quite know exactly the decision you're going to make. But let's be mindful of your ruler, the moon. The moon is about how we feel. That's always critical. The second house energy is redolent of the sign of Taurus, which likes stability, and of course Leo is a fixed sign, so you will be aware of that, but that could add some complexity to the equation, because there may be part of you that doesn't want to give up something you've got, but at the same time doesn't really feel that what you're doing gives you that much pleasure. So if you're in a job, in simple terms, that you're not enjoying, you provide services with your own business where you don't feel seen, heard, appreciated, or rewarded as much as you could, there's a big chance that you are going to think of a change. But equally, you could be doing really well. You may be in a situation where you are moving forwards, you are feeling seen and heard and recognised and appreciated, and in that instance your financial situation could improve over the next month, but with Mercury retrograde, perhaps not exactly as you expect. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. So Leo, each year the new moon gives you a chance to feel revitalized, much more on the front foot, to be progressive, perhaps take the first step forwards in a daring new way, or bring extra verve to an ongoing strand that may not have lost impetus, but may just benefit from some extra traction and effort. And the single-mindedness that can come from a new moon is definitely valuable. But the intriguing thing about this year's new moon for you, along with the Mercury retrograde, which suggests that not everything may go exactly to plan, is you can benefit most not just from focusing on your role in the situation, but how you can connect and network and collaborate with others. And that might not be something that you're so attuned to, but if you can be, to a degree, somewhat of a team player, you're going to gain an awful lot more over the next 4 weeks. It doesn't mean to say you have to diminish your talent or lower your impact in the situation, but just understand, to get to where you want to be, doing it alone might not actually be so easy to do. So whether you get the collaboration, the cooperation, the support, the encouragement from others will be key to the journey. And because of Uranus bringing a real sense of freshness and newness to your friendship situation through to the 8th of November, you may find yourself actually becoming much more drawn to people who perhaps in the past weren't your celestial cup of tea. And maybe some old relationships are primed for a shake-up of some kind. You may also find that because of Venus's square to Mars, if there is someone around you who has very different values to you, maybe someone you have got on well with in the past, that chasm between how you see things now and how they do can seem that much greater, which in turn can encourage new people into your situation. But the need to collaborate and bend a little bit, not be too stubborn about just getting things on your terms, will be really important, particularly with Pluto in your 7th house. In a relationship context, if you are wanting to do something afresh, you'll need to be inclusive and explain what you're trying to do to your partner in order to retain their goodwill and encouragement. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. Virgo, the intriguing thing about a 12th house new moon is the growth can come from engaging with the parts of life that many of us are a little bit reluctant to grapple with. So that can be the shadow side of our natures, can be things like fears and anxieties, can be a need to withdraw a little bit, work on healing, perhaps having the space to take some time out and just put your own needs first. What makes this year so unique is that your ruler Mercury is in retrograde in that 12th house, but also Mars is in your sign, emboldening you, but clashing with Venus in your sector of work and professional interaction. So I think it's possible that this is a new moon, especially with Pluto opposite the position of the Sun and the Moon, where if there is something around your commitments and obligations, an area you often shine in, which are not really working for you, you don't really feel that appreciated, you're not really enjoying it, you're almost being compelled to think very deeply, do some research, take soundings, but most of all, give yourself permission to be in touch with that tender part of your situation and not be quite so focused on the practicalities, the routines that you feel so comfortable with, but in a way, particularly with Uranus now tickling into your 10th house through to the first week of November, you are being pushed to make a change with that, and also Pluto in house 6, and if you resist it, that could build up some tension. So if there's any kind of stress manifesting itself in your situation at the moment, the big push really is to accept it, face it, but also work with it in a constructive way by giving yourself permission to feel that you're not a machine. You do have times when you need to recharge, to adapt, flex, rethink, and also take some opportunities to have some healing. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. So Libra, your social situation is going to be lit up and illuminated by this particular new moon in a potentially very exciting way, and partly because of the role of Uranus, because Uranus is pushing you in your sister air sign of Gemini to step outside your comfort zone, to be more daring in your approach, to shake things up. So things have got a little bit dull or predictable in terms of your personal interests and connections. You could find over the next month some new people are going to be entering your social circle, but there could also be one person in particular, not necessarily romantically, but it may be, who really captures your imagination. The interesting thing about this event for you this year is not just that Mercury's retrograde in Leo, which suggests that things can be fluid, things could be fixed up, changed. It won't necessarily be all in a straight line. It's more that your ruler Venus, which is in, like Uranus, part of your chart to do with exploration, but also your personal higher truth around relationships, that's clashing with Mars. Is there someone you're connected to, perhaps through your friendships and interests, a group involvement, that you're very much drawn to, but it's not possible for you to be open about your attraction to them? That's part of the equation. Equally, as much as you may want to continue to work at one particular relationship, if you feel it has run its course, there's a push in some ways to be more conscious of where you can break free of something that's limiting you from living your life more on your terms. But the trick of it really is about your boundaries, because that's Saturn and Neptune on that 7th house. So I feel that your friendship situation, your interest, your long-term plan, your higher purpose is all coming very much into focus, but it won't necessarily play out exactly as you expect because of Mercury's retrograde, but also because there may be some psychological stuff that you still need to purge from the deepest part of yourself with Mars in the 12th house before you can really start to gain momentum. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. Scorpio, there's a part of your nature that can be somewhat private, certainly private about things that are personal to you. There's other parts of your nature that can be extremely assertive, and that part can really come to life with this particular new moon. If you are wanting to receive more recognition for your talents, apply for a job, take a step up in terms of your ambitions, this is your chance to go for it. Because Mercury's retrograde, it could be that you're going to rethink something that you thought was quite set only very recently. But because also Saturn and Neptune are in the part of your chart to do with the processes, it's important to showcase your understanding of the detail of situations, as well as your ability to actually carry through and deliver and take on responsibilities in any situation. What about your two rulers? Well, of course, Pluto is in house 4, and that's going to see huge changes about your emotional world and where you live through to 243. The opposition to the Sun does suggest that if there's part of you that doesn't feel quite so comfortable in the limelight, that may be something that can cause some discomfort, if I'm honest. And then Mars is in a very friendly part of your chart, but in a square with Venus in the deep and passionate 8th house. Is there someone that you're involved with at the present time, and there is a little bit of a push-pull dimension in terms of the power dynamic in the relationship? That may be something that needs to be worked on over the next 4 weeks. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. Sagittarius, the wonderful thing about a Leo new moon each year, it evokes in a way the expansive and optimistic energy of your sign. It can be about travel, higher education, philosophy, the law, but also it's just about changing things up. And there's part of most Sagittarius people who do like variety. And if your life has become a little bit too repetitive, a little too demanding around obligations, just being a bit more in the moment and spontaneous over the next 4 weeks will be like a breath of fresh air. But another part of your nature is that you like to inform yourself of knowledge. And because the Sun and Moon are opposite Pluto, you could find yourself having some intense conversations over the next few weeks. But it's important to pick the ones that you really put a load of energy into, because what could start off as being, just a bit of a tussle with someone could turn into a full-scale arm wrestle, and you'll need to ask yourself, is it really worth it? In terms of Uranus, that's in your 7th house. The 7th house, along with Venus, is our connection to others. Venus in the 7th house can be very, very constructive, but because Mars is squaring to Venus on this event, and Mars is in a very assertive part of your chart, in a relationship situation, a need to be right, a need to control things would not necessarily be helpful. So Uranus, in a way, is asking you to perhaps challenge yourself about some of the perhaps responses you have, and understand that as much as you like to be free and have space and independent, other people who are involved with you can feel the same too. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. So Capricorn, your great gift is your application, your appetite for keeping it real, working hard, being industrious, all great things. And it's possible that all that hard work you've been putting in could see you have some kind of financial breakthrough over the next 4 weeks, or set your intentions to improve things if you have your own enterprise. You want to be more entrepreneurial, good stuff. Mercury retrograde suggests, however, that there may be some need to gain greater information, dive deep, understand things at a bit more of a penetrative level. But the 8th house can also be where we connect to others, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, or even intimately. If that isn't quite working in a relationship at the moment, particularly with Saturn, your ruler, connecting to this particular event, but also back to Pluto in your 2nd house of everyday resources, it may be something that is going to be somewhat challenging. You know, Uranus in the 6th house means that things could be moving. If you resist that need for change, it could create even greater resistance, which then creates more inner tension. So the ability to share ideas backwards and forwards is important, but if you're not feeling it around any kind of connection, whether it's in business, whether it's a personal relationship, Mars in your 9th house can just give you a tease that escaping into your own situation where you have more control could be very tempting. But sometimes the things that we don't really want to look at, we don't really want to confront, very much 8th house energy is where we can grow the most. So some kind of big challenge can come up over the next 4 weeks, but if you take it on and evolve through it, it could see your situation improve. You could get closer to someone, you could improve your finances, but equally something could come to a close, because the 8th house can be about ends and beginnings, and Mars suggests, to me at least, that that could push you to claim your space, to take control and just break out and be a little bit more independent, which could see you bring something to a close. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. So Aquarius, the Leo new moon in the 7th house, could be really important for relationships. But when we think about relationships, and people do say this on videos, people will say, I don't want to be in a relationship, I've done that. It doesn't actually float my celestial boat anymore, and I really respect that. But we all do have a relationship. The number one is with ourselves, and the 7th house can be about boundaries. It can be about where we interact. It can be about where we meet people and have a lovely connection. But the position of the moon in the 7th house in a natal chart will often make people very skilled at tuning into others, just bending a little bit into their needs, having a harmonizing approach, and can be very, very lovely. But also it can be, if we have too much 7th house energy in a natal chart, where we give our power away. So what you're being asked to do, particularly with Uranus, your modern ruler, collaborating with your traditional ruler, Saturn in your sector of everyday thinking and communication, Uranus in the kind of Leo point of your chart where you need to glow up with your brilliance, and the 7th house where you need to get that connection, that all could be very sweet over the next 4 weeks. What's not to like? Mercury retrograde suggests that however much you try to connect to someone, they may not hear your message in the way that you want it to be received. Also, Pluto in your sign could make you much more assertive about not necessarily being the person who gives way. You're more determined to find that balance between what you get and what you give. And that's a good thing if you're working on a relationship of any kind, with a colleague, a family member, a friend, or with someone you're personally involved with. So relationships very much under the astral spotlight with this particular new moon, and it could be that you're going to have a very important conversational connection in the next 4 weeks. It could be around a contractual matter, to be honest, particularly with Mars, the planet of desire, in house 8, very, very much about wanting to improve that part of your life. It's in a lusty right angle with Venus in the playful 5th house. Interesting. Things could get hot, hot, hot if you do connect with someone and it goes well. But just be aware that things can be fluid with Mercury's retrograde. But essentially, the position of Pluto is the anchor planet in this particular new moon, I feel. And it's really saying that it's vital that you do feel that your individuality and ability to collaborate works well for you. That particular equation isn't in too much of any one direction, so you're not giving too much, or nor are you feeling unheard. So if you can just get that on the sweet spot, you know, whether it is getting someone to take a little bit more responsibility if you feel they're not doing that, hearing where you're coming from more clearly. But keep going, because despite Mercury's retrograde, I think over the next month progress can still be made. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video. Pisces, this is the new moon of virtue, which doesn't sound very exciting indeed, but it's also the new moon of work. And the 6th house suggests if you're not particularly happy in your current role, this is your opportunity to do something about it. Now, although Mercury is retrograde, which suggests that appointments, details can go a little awry, it can also give you the chance to rethink, but perhaps in a more penetrative way. Getting into the detail can actually tease out some information to help you. And also Mars is in your opposite sign. So if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling appreciated, Mars can help you to say what you need. The 6th house can also be about the domestic sphere. You know, whether it is being neat and tidy, you may be someone who's got everything pristine and working like a well-oiled machine, but there may be another part of your situation which isn't quite so virtuous. Perhaps the type of food you're eating, the nutrients that are or are not in it, the amount of sleep you're getting, the amount of physical exercise. Usually for all of us, there's something we can do a little better, and that's your opportunity over this next 4 weeks. Now, because Saturn and Neptune, your modern ruler, are tethered together in that 2nd house, and Uranus is in the 4th now, it's possible that the chance to work for yourself or also work from home or on a part-time basis, which gives you more flexibility, could be something that really appeals to you. But if you are being very conscientious at home, and Pisces people are often hugely conscientious, and someone else is taking that for granted, or it's a colleague, I feel that Mars on that 7th house is saying don't put up with it, don't suffer in silence. Tell people what you need, tell them what you do, remind them, and that extra assertion can actually be very positive for you in this situation, because with Pluto in your 12th house, if you let resentment build up, it could feed into your emotions in a more negative way. Please visit my new website at patrickarundell.com. You can enjoy my free 3-card tarot. It's absolutely brilliant. Download your free natal chart with a terrific interpretation, but also sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning. Please see the link beneath this video.